This PSA was brought to you by The Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the positive. We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter. Yeah, I want. Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on. He likes it. It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
Hey, it's showtime. That's right. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Beautiful day. Great day. Hope everybody is doing well. My name is Peter G. You're watching Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show, right here, like clockwork, every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Tell you what, I got up today. Thank God I got up today, and that was a great start right there. But when I got up, first thing I did was, well, not the first thing I did was, but one of the first things I did was wiggle, wiggle. I'm already getting people texting. All right, first thing I did was I, to get a little pep in my step and get going, because I'm on this little routine right now. I'm on a mission, but I took my Nugenix GNC Boost, put that in a little bit of in a bottle of water, shook the hell out of it. It's tasty too, but this just starts, you could just feel it going through your bloodstream. It just starts getting you feeling sparkly. I don't know how to explain it really, but and then I moseyed around. I kind of sipped on it a little bit, and then I went walking this morning, and I'm doing that, I clear my head, get ready for the day, try to do it long before I got to get in to do the show. But I took the GNC Boost. It's available at GNC stores, the Nugenix GNC Boost, just so you know, in case you want some. But I like it. It just, I know there's, it's helping me out to get that motivation, keep on going. It's not ginseng or anything like that. Growth hormones, as you get older, you start losing a lot of stuff. Some guys, testosterone, this and that. This is growth hormone booster. And that's why I look 20, so it's like... Oh, please stop. Anyway, so I went for a walk, and when I went for the walk, I put my earbuds in, and I decided to listen to some music, and I listened to Van Halen today. I chose a best of album, which I haven't done in a long time. And it was called The Best of Both Worlds. So it's like Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth. And I don't know how many songs are on that album. I lost track, but I forgot how much I loved those guys back in the day, and still do, kind of. I mean, Sammy, David Lee Roth had his whole thing going. I don't think he holds up anymore. I mean, but, God bless him. I mean, but he had something about entertaining back then. And I remember as a musician going, I want to live their life, because they were about as over the top as you could get back in their day. And then I listened to, I was mixing it up. So it was like some of the Sammy stuff, and Sammy Hagar, God, what a voice. That guy, I mean, he's still going strong, but great stuff. And I listened to it, and I just had forgotten, how amazing, the stuff that I used to live for back then. And it was just kind of took me back, and that got me all the way back. And then it's back to hitting the nose to the grind. Here we are, and here we are. But I just thought I'd throw that in, because music makes the world go round, and I love it. I just sometimes I step away from it just so I can kind of appreciate it more, because I've lived it most of my life, and you just take it for granted sometimes that that's just the way it is. And believe me, folks, nothing is just the way it is. Things can change in the blink of an eye. And we're going to talk a lot about that kind of stuff tonight, because tonight I got a great guest. He's got a book. author, speaker, coach, Bradley Dean Silberman is going to be on the show in a few minutes. And he's got a book called Be the Bubble. Right here. Be the Bubble. And it's like, what the hell is Be the Bubble? You know? But I'm going to let him come on and tell his story and why he named his book Be the Bubble. But let's just say that, you know, it's kind of like a self-help, but it's like, you know, everybody's got a story. Everybody's got problems. You're not alone. And Brad's one of them who had some challenges in his life, some serious challenges in his life, and he managed to take control back control of his life and make something of himself, despite at a point where, you know, you're a lot of people would basically give up. And it's like, never say never, never say die. And he's going to be on in a couple of minutes, and that's going to be great. Also, I want to remind you, August 10th, next Wednesday. I don't know which, you know, whichever way Wednesday is for you. August 10th, from the Artist First Radio Network, I'm going to have Miss Kathy Nutt on. She's been a guest on this show a couple of times over the past 3 years. She's going to be on next week. We're going to talk about what floats her boat. She has a tendency to like to take over my show sometimes. You know, women, you know, but you know, we're going to talk to her. I want to say I have not spoken to her in quite some time, and I want to see how her show's doing. The thing is, our shows are on the same day. She's a couple hours earlier than me. Hers is a radio show. This is a TV show, but the bottom line is, it kind of interferes. I mean, she's managing to go step right off of her show and come into mine, which will be great. So I want you to be here because she's feisty. She's a Southern gal, and she's feisty. So you might want to check her out. Wednesday, August 10th, coming up. Kathy Nutt from the Kathy Nutt Radio Show. Going to be right here, okay? Also, lastly, but not leastly. Is that a word? Leastly? Is that a word? It is now. Anyway, the podcast, don't forget, I love you guys for being able to watch this show, watching this show. I love you for being able to take the time out of your life to watch this show, Paul and the many. But if you can't watch the show, you can put an earbud in, you can take it on the road with you, you can take it in the car. Just Google Peter G. Show Podcast. We're on 23 platforms right now and counting. 2 weeks ago was 21 platforms. This week is 23 now. It's growing. So you have multiple choices. Just Google Peter G. Show Podcast. You know, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, all the above. There's a million in between, but you can listen to us in the car. You can put an earbud in at work because nobody wants to be paying attention to work. And you can check out over 200 shows of the live. Plus, there's many more that were pre-records from back in the day. And they're all great shows with lots of great information. And I find that different shows, yay. That's right, Paul. You can take it on the road with you. I find that different shows push different people's buttons for, many different reasons. So, you can pick and choose what you want on demand, or you can catch the show, anyone you want. Stay up currently, or just pick through all, you got tons to choose from. And I promise you, you'll probably learn something from any of the shows, even if it's just a good joke. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That being said, speaking of stories, I want to bring on a gentleman right now, my new friend, and I hope he's going to be yours. He's got some good stuff to tell, so you gather around, folks, pay attention. But ladies and gentlemen, author of Be the Bubble, a new friend to the show, Brad Silberman. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on your show. Love the introduction.
No, it's good. I'm glad you can make it. I got a lot of questions to ask you, but so we're kind of going to get all over the map, but we're kind of going to step back and go from the beginning and try to make it through the end. But you just recently moved to the United States, correct?
That's correct. This is week 15 that we're here.
Week 15, and you came from?
South Africa, Johannesburg, South Africa.
That's an interesting place, kind of, sort of.
It's amazing. Very interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I told you I have a friend that lives in Cape Town, and and I've also known a few people that have grown up like in Rhodesia. It was Rhodesia back then. And the stories that they've told me. I mean, it's we all have our challenges in the countries we live in and things like that. I mean, but it's quite different than America, so to speak. Am I correct?
Correct. Every place has pros and cons. I think you just have to figure out which ones, is suitable for your life.
Yeah. But you decided. I mean, I don't think it's an easy task to just say, "Hey, we want to move to a different country," in the world. I mean, how did you end up doing that? And you have a family and stuff too, correct?
I've got a family. I've got a beautiful wife and 2 awesome kids. Blessed. But I think you get a feeling. I first visited LA, Los Angeles about 11 years ago, and ever since I visited, I felt a pull to come here, to move across. I mean, back then I wasn't married. I was engaged to my wife, and we actually got married in Las Vegas. A fun time. And I just felt this pull, and it's finally come true.
Well, I gotta tell you that. 11 years ago, LA was a little bit different. It's taken quite a few changes in a very short time recently, and I'm praying that we can turn this ship around somehow. But here we are. I know we'll all survive it one way or another, but it's just a little bit different right now. And I wish I could say that everything was honky dory, but we got a few problems, but still better than a lot of places. I got to say, I guess.
I mean, we're having a great time here. I mean, it's been so beautiful for us. So we're blessed, we're grateful, and again, it's about pros and cons.
Great. Pros and cons. Speaking of pros and cons, you got a book that you wrote. How long ago did you write this book?
It published September last year. But this book goes back to the younger years in your life, correct? Correct.
Why don't you just give a synopsis of, and then we'll get into a little more intricate detail. But I mean, what possessed you? What challenged you and got you to say, "Hey, I want to write a book"? Because I'm a procrastinator. I should have 3 out by now, but I just can't sit down long enough to do it.
Well, that's perfect. So, I was back in the day before I was 22 years old. I was studying engineering and math, and I was big into my rugby. Rugby was my passion, and I was just floating along life joyously. And I went out to a nightclub when I was 22 years old at the end of the year before my final math exams, and I was beaten up by bouncers. Unprovoked. I've never been a fighter, never will be a fighter. I'm more of the lover and the controller, or try to make things better. I've always been like that. And I was beaten up unprovoked. And what happened was I hit my head on the curb of the pavement in this bouncer beating. And luckily, my friends rushed me to hospital. And long story short, but I had bleeding on the brain. I had a subdural hematoma. And they did an emergency brain operation. And I was in a coma for a couple of weeks. At that time, the doctors told my loved ones, family, friends, that if Brad wakes up, you can expect him to be blowing bubbles for the rest of his life, sitting in the corner in the chair. The prognosis was terrible. My brain was swelling to the point of no return. It's called brain coning, where the only place for your brain to go is down your spinal column. And when that happens, that's game over. We're on the other side. So the prognosis was very bad, but I pulled through and I made a miraculous recovery beyond anyone's expectation or imagination, including trauma surgeons, neurosurgeons, and the like. And it took me about 3 years to recover. I was brain damaged. So I had to learn to walk, talk, eat, do anything right again at the age of 22, like a baby. And a couple of important factors, I think, made this recovery so miraculous was, first of all, I'm a strong believer in power of prayer. I had huge numbers of support praying for me every single day for my recovery. I had a great medical system in South Africa, and it was my attitude. I never once questioned why me, why this, who did this to me, let's go kill them. All I took in was what was in front of my nose, was I need to learn how to take that step. And until I took that step, that's all I did. And then I had to learn to put that spoon in that yogurt and feed myself. And all I did and focused on was doing that.
Let me ask you a question. You a question, hold on, because again, because then we'll get so far ahead and then I'll forget.
You're welcome.
How was your support? I mean, family. I mean, because some people have family, some people don't. I mean, you were a young guy. Where did you recover? At home, in a nursing home, so to speak? I mean, because the hospitals don't keep you but so long once you're kind of at some certain point.
No, I was in hospital. I was in hospital for a long period of time. I mean, I was in a coma for 2-3 weeks. I was in there thereafter until I could safely be taken out of care. And then I went to a recovery rehabilitation home to learn how to walk, speech and hearing therapies, biokineticists, physios, psychologists, psychiatry, all that type of stuff. So it was a long process. It took about 3 years to get.
3 years. 3 years hospitalized.
No, not 3 years hospitalized.
Okay.
I can't exactly remember how long I was in hospital. I can't exactly remember how long I was in the recovery rehabilitation center, but I do know it took me about 3 years to be on my own again, to build relationships, to have friends, to pick up the phone and understand what I'm actually doing, to be conscious here on this earth again. It took me about 3 years. Yeah.
And in Johannesburg, do you have family there? Because some people have tons of family, some people have nobody. I have to ask these questions.
I've got a big family in Johannesburg and all around the world actually. And this was the time before any Facebook was invented, and I had a support on a website that my brother created for hope and messages from all around the world. And through that, every morning, every night, people used to pray for me. I'm Jewish, so people did Tehillim praying sessions every single morning, every night for me. And those were strangers. I was on the radio in South Africa. I was on television shows. I was on editorials and magazines and documentaries. So it got out really, really all over the place. And I think the reason why it got out was because of my mother. She didn't stand or take what happened to me lightly. She went to a radio station, a very popular radio station, and she spoke to them live and about what happened. And it just, it was publicized on the mass scale right from the beginning. And that's how I got so much support.
Okay, because but I'm going to back it up even more, because you're just in a club and these bouncers decided to beat the shit out of you for no reason. You weren't, as far as you can remember, what would provoke them to just pick you to do such a thing?
All right, so I don't remember anything that happened that night, but what I've been told is the following. So I had a friend who was black, right? He's a good friend of mine, and we went out. We actually went for his birthday party to celebrate his birthday party. And apparently he got kicked out because he was, I don't know, drinking, and maybe he was like relaxing on the couch or whatever the case, and they kicked him out. And apparently he was upset, going on about that they kicked him out because they're being racist. And I was the guy that was trying to control the situation, to not aggressively react, but just to say we are leaving. And apparently at the club, there were 2 exits and entrance of the club, and they pushed us out the wrong one. And then we had to go across the club again to get to the right one and to get to our car that was parked outside the club. And at that time, they just laid into me specifically, because I'm a bigger guy, and I was probably in the front, and it was just luck of the draw, I suppose.
And they figured, okay, we just kicked you out, and your smart ass decided to come back in again, so we'll fix you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you get into this, you get messed up, you don't even remember, you're in a coma. And near-death experience, anything? Or I always like to ask those questions too. Do you recall? Because I've had people that have, I've been told by some people, everybody needs to have a near-death experience to really understand life. But
wow,
not sure.
It was a near-death experience. I definitely went to the other side, and there were lots of examples or actions or things that I did or said that allowed me, as well as other people in my life, close people, to realize that I was actually on the other side for a moment.
Really?
Yeah.
again, I always find it fascinating. I really, I'm just starting to understand lots of things in my life. As you know, I think as you get older, your brain develops a little bit more. Prior to this show, we were looking at clips about things that I'm going to feature in the future, and you look at kids. I mean, not kids, but guys, people in their 20s nowadays, and it's fascinating to me how little they know about anything right now, the way things are going. So, I tend to really appreciate, the wisdom of growing older and picking up a few more things of common sense, at least, if anything. But I'm just always fascinated with life and spirit and things like that, because I do believe there's more to it than us just being here. But it's a little bit complex until you want to let yourself to understand.
No, I'm fully on your page. I mean, that's one of my passions. I think through this experience, which I call my discovery, I've got a passion to uplift people wherever I may go, if it's for business or the other. My objective in life is to make the world a better place, and I try to do that wherever I can, and that's who I am. And I think it's based on the fact of my discovery, my experience, my incident of me going to the side briefly, and the journey from that. I mean, there's a big journey after the incident, and that's basically why I wrote the book. I mean, life's a journey, and the whole point of Beat the Bubble essentially is on a simple outlook of it, is that we all have darkness, we all have challenges, we all go through difficulty, but it's all about your perception and your attitude to that, of being in the dark. And when you are in the dark, you have to be grateful for being in the dark, because what the darkness is, it's about putting a step in front of you so that you can step up and summit the mountain that you're on. And that's all it is. And if you have that mindset, you can tackle anything and you can take on anything, because everything happens to you is meant to happen to you at that time. There's a reason, a meaning, and a purpose for everything happening, good, bad, ugly, and gorgeous.
See, this is where I get a little bit confused sometimes, because you got some people that will say things like, well, if God is so good, or this and that, if you believe in God or not, but then why did this person get murdered? Was that, or all these kind of things? It's like, I do believe sometimes things don't happen. I believe things happen for a reason, but not always the reason it should have been. I still believe there's mistakes in life that get made beyond your control. Like if somebody decides to just walk up and beat the hell out of you, maybe that should have been. But maybe, the person that got, hit by a car, I don't know. I don't know if they're designed to be checking out sooner than later, but it just leaves me with a lot of questions about that.
Sure, it leaves us all with a lot of questions, including me. But the truth of the matter is that we, being in this physical realm that we're currently in, with ego, with I want to be this and I want to be that, and the societal rules and measures, we don't really understand why things happen to us. Maybe we're not meant to, but years to come, you will understand if you're still here. If you talk to anyone that's gone through a life-altering circumstance or situation, they are always going to be grateful for what they went through. Same like me. I'm so grateful that this happened to me. If it did not happen to me, I would not be the person I am. I'd be probably a mathematician or a banker. Not to say that that's wrong. That's right for some people. But for me, on a personal basis, it's not right. And I would have lived a miserable life. For me, I'm not saying that's how bankers and mathematicians are. I mean, I love math, but I'm just saying that for me, it pushed me onto the right platform of life so that I could be my best me, so that I can be happy and I can be successful.
I get it, but I also, like a lot of things, somebody said this phrase to me once many years ago. He goes, "You don't know what you don't know," and it sounds kind of dumb, but it's kind of true. It's and yes, you can be enlightened, and maybe it is better, but I don't know, because you don't know where you would have been. Maybe you would have been a mathematician, maybe you wouldn't have. I mean, who knows? Now you know where you're at, and thank God that you're happy doing what you're doing, because I truly believe in happiness of what you're doing. The last thing in the world, I think, if you're miserable and forced to do stuff that you don't like, it's like, you need to change your course. I'd rather be poor doing what I'm happy to do than rich being miserable, which, I'd like to have the best of both worlds. But Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, you can see you're on a platform, you're on a path, you're on a trajectory. I mean, I was studying engineering and maths, and eventually I would have passed that and probably gone to work for a bank or some financial institution, and then my life would have gone on from there. So if this didn't happen to me, that's where I would have been. Who knows? I probably would have been happy, but I believe that this happened to me to alter my life, so I can be who I really am in this life.
I get it, but you kind of chose your path when you went to school. I'm not knocking it, because believe me, I do understand about that, because I'm living proof basically as well about how things changed in my life, not as tragic as yours, but things changed and I had to reinvent myself, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And now here I am, doing this, and I do enjoy doing this, although I still miss being a musician more so than I can. I don't have the time to afford to it as much now at a certain level, but still, it's like, who knew at the time, when you're trying to get into this, you didn't know where you were going to be, but you chose the path that you chose to be. You could have said, I want to be an athlete if you were kind of good, or you said anything, but you chose to go to school to do that. So you kind of liked it, didn't you?
Yes, but the reason is, why did I choose it? Why did you choose that? Why did someone else choose that? It's based on your mentors, your people that are guiding you through life. That's what it's all based on. It's based on society. You look up as a kid and you see that this guy has this car, and he can eat at the most expensive restaurants anywhere in the world, and then you want to be like him because it seems like he's got a successful life. But does that mean, and you make your choices based on that? That doesn't mean that that's what you meant to do. And often people choose incorrectly, and it's through love. The intention is through love from our parents and from our mentors. It's through love. I mean, I've got children. I want them to be the best, much better than me, the best that they can be. So I take my societal indoctrination, I kind of give it to my kids so that they can be successful, married with beautiful children, have lots of money, so they can live a great life. But through that, what do? I break who they are. I break their passion and what they meant to do in life. Exactly. You get me? So then often, like, people get to a certain stage of life and they are successful and they have all the fancy cars and houses and blah, blah, blah. But there's always this missing void in their soul, that they're missing something, that something's not right. I need to do something. And then they get into the destructive stuff, and then that's when that happens. Like, I don't want to get there now, but I'm just, everything that one does, everything that one doesn't do, there's a consequence, and it's a cycle. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the discoveries in my book. So I'm not sure if you want to talk about my book more.
We're gonna get into that. I mean, but I just want to get to the base of who you are and why you are and how you came to this. So we'll go to this. You named the book "Be the Bubble." Now, to look at it, I'm going, now I kind of knew because that's how we found you, but the thing is, be the bubble. It's kind of a trick introduction, if you ask me, And so what made you decide, I want to call it Be the Bubble, and hope that people will get you, so to speak?
Okay, great question. So Be the Bubble came to me through an epiphany. So I'm just going to take you back a bit on the journey of my life, let's say. So in 2004, the incident happened. In about, as soon as I can get up on my feet, I actually started studying. I was studying engineering and maths. I started studying BCom entrepreneurship. It was very difficult for me. The neurosurgeon said, do not study. It's going to damage your brain. And I ignored them, and I went forward and I studied BCom entrepreneurship. I got the degree. It took me 7 years. I remember that, I read for 2 minutes and I had to sleep for 3 weeks. I had such tension headaches that nothing would relieve. Injections, pain medication, morphine, no pain would reduce except sleep. So it took me 7 years to get the degree, and I put myself through it, through starting health and wellness companies, massage therapy, healing, and corporate health and wellness companies. Now, ever since I was on my feet, people have been begging me to get on stage and talk about my story, right? And eventually, in about 2016, So it was sometime after the incident, I got up on stage and I started speaking for money for corporates. And through that half of a year, probably after about 7 talks, I was on stage, I was talking to about 400, 500 people. And all of a sudden, I had an epiphany. I stopped in my tracks. People thought that I actually had lost track of what I was saying and forgot my words. But inside of me, I had an epiphany. I went to another realm. My epiphany took me back 7 years prior to that talk, okay, where I experienced something called regression under hypnotherapy. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, what that is, but essentially on a basic level, regression under hypnotherapy, obviously you get into a hypnotic state, and it takes you back, your soul back, to the first time you experience anger, pain, sadness, depression, guilt, and you get rid of that emotion. It's a trauma relief, trauma therapy. So the reason why I went to that was because although in the Western doctor culture, my body was in perfect shape, there was nothing wrong with me, I was not feeling well. I was sick. I used to excuse my language, but and the picture of this, but I used to go to the bathroom number 2 35 times a day. My body was failing me. Everything was sore, but doctors told me my body's perfect, my bloods were perfect. So I went to the more alternative approach to wellness, and I went through regression and hypnotherapy to relieve the trauma that I experienced in 2004. Now, the reason why I went there is because on a conscious level, I always accepted what had happened to me. I accepted it as a universal lesson that this is what needs to happen to me for me to become who I'm meant to become. And that's why I had such a great recovery, because my attitude and perception was great. However, years after that, my subconscious was suffering, and my subconscious was every single day, every single moment was trying to push my trauma away, and therefore I was sick. So I went to this regression under hypnotherapy session. On consultation number 6, I was now ready. There was 5 minutes left of the therapy session, and she said, "Now, okay, you ready to go under?" So I went under, and I went to the most beautiful place I'd ever been to in my life. I was there for 5 minutes, but it felt like I'd been there my whole life, and I didn't want to leave. Although it was so beautiful, I came out of it, I came to consciousness, and I was actually disappointed with my experience. And the reason was because my expectation was to take my soul back to previous souls. I don't know if any of you believe that or not, but to get rid of the trauma. But all I was with me. And it was beautiful, but at the same time disappointed. I never knew what that was until I had that epiphany on stage 7 years later. It took me back to that place that I was, and I realized that's where I need to take people. And what that place was, I was actually on a bubble in a cloud. It was just me. For the first time in my life, I was naked with just me. There was no other energies involved, and I loved myself. I loved what I saw. I loved what I felt. I saw the human compass, that what I need to do here on earth to make my life happy and my life successful. So after that epiphany, I probably told the audience and got a few claps and laughs and whatever the case. But after that, I went and did further like life coaching courses, mind power courses, healing meditation courses, and I developed a platform called Be the Bubble, which is the book right here. So that's how I formulated Be the Bubble. So my whole theory is that I want as many people as possible to be the bubble. And essentially Be the Bubble is connecting to who you are without any disturbance from anyone around you. You don't get affected by compliments. You don't get affected by criticism. And all you do, all the reaction that you have is gratitude for what's happening around you. You take a step back, you're in your bubble, you're protected by whatever's happening around you, and you control your own ship to go where you need to go. But obviously the discoveries that I put, there's 6 discoveries in Be the Bubble. Discovery number 5 is Be the Bubble. And that is all about the past, which is what we've been through, to the current, which is what we're going through, and the future. But it's taking all past, present, and future into this time period. Because essentially right now, everything in the past is affecting me now, and everything now is affecting me now, and everything now is affecting.
Uh-oh. We just lost Brad. I could see that we were having an issue. Brad, Peter G Show, come in, over. We lost his stream right during the good stuff. Let's see if we can get him back on there. He's going to have to He's going to have to come back on. Because I got questions now. Now I got questions because he's getting into the thick of things. I understand kind of this stuff. I'm trying to, as a thinking human being. There we go. I think we're gonna get about. Where is it?
Sorry, I'm not sure what happened.
There you go. We lost you there for a second. You okay? Hello? You're frozen. There you go. Brad, can you hear me? There you go. I got you. You there, Brad? I see you. He doesn't hear me. Hello. Technology, folks. You there?
I can hear you, but the line's bad. It's not-
Okay, well, we can hear you. So
Sorry.
it's okay. I tell you, signal is. We'll talk about that later. It's okay. Show must go on. The thing is, we hear you now. So pick up where you left off, if you. But let me ask you a question, since you hear me. You were doing this speaking engagement when you had this moment, correct? Uh-oh. Man, oh man. We haven't had this in a while. Welcome to California, folks. At least we're not having brownouts right now. Because brownouts can be a bitch. Hi, I'm Peter G. Telling you to don't have brownouts. Pay your utility bill. Especially in California. I mean, we're in the peak season. They're already, you know what the sad thing about, and then we'll get back to Brad as soon as he can get back on. But as I was walking this morning, all the grass, I kind of live in a decent area and where, the grass is green and it's trimmed and all that. And my God, all the grass is yellowing and dying because of all the rationing we're going through. Let's see if we can get Brad back in here. Okay, you with me? Brad? Can you hear me? I don't think you can. That's a no. I don't have a Brad. I got you. Do you? Hello? Right, we're in the middle. This is all part of the intense. Brad, are you there? Hello, hello. Uh-oh. Maybe he just threw the computer out the window. Hello. Hello. Brad. I don't know if you see me or not, but I see you. Peekaboo. Hello? You're frozen. What do we do? We can't do nothing because that's technology. Like I said, it's I'm here if you're here, Brad. Still in. I can hear me. Can't hear you. Then we're gonna lose him again. It's amazing how it just out of the blue decides to get finicky. Hello? Let me try pulling you out and then pulling you back in again. Nope, we lost him. Come in, Brad. I don't have him. Might have to log off. There you go. So I'm walking today. When I was walking, and we'll get back to Brad. Cross your fingers, folks. And I'm, and it's just so sad because everything with our water rationing here in California right now, there are, emergencies, watering 1 day or 2 days a week, and it's hot as hell out here. And I mean, typically this place used to be arid and kind of deserty, so we need the water to make the grass green. But I mean, even the golf course I live nearby is, I mean, I don't know how they can get away with it. Their greens are still green, but everything else is not looking too good. It ain't looking pretty, but that's the way it goes. And that was just kind of sad because this is, we still got, it right now, September and everything is usually very hot in California. So that we got a ways to go when it comes to the heat, and it's making the grass, it's killing everything, it's drying everything out, and then we'll have the risk of fire season again. It's like, what's next? Although there are fires going on. Let's cross our fingers that we can bring him in right now. I don't see him, but I can hear him. There we go. One more time. Okay. Hey, we changed locations. Are you there? Brad?
God.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Can you hear me? I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. Okay.
I'm
so-
here.
Yeah, we kind of lost you because of, I guess, I tell you, Wi-Fi can be finicky, very tricky. And so let's pick up where you left off. I mean, if I was asking you that when you were at this speaking engagement and you had this moment, you weren't under or anything. I mean, this was how long? I mean, what exactly did you just go silent in front of everybody? Brad? I'm having a problem. It ain't gonna work. Boy, but that's it. Oops. Let's try again. Lost him again. See, I'm telling you. I tell people that it's really hard. When COVID kind of hit, we were doing this stuff, and I was already ahead of the game doing this. Let me see if I can bring him in again. There you go. Let's try again. Brad, you hear me?
Hi,
Brad?
guys. Sorry about that. I got you back.
Okay. So I don't know if you just
Can
heard
you hear me?
Yes, I'm there. You're a little bit hollowy, but I'll take it right now. I hope you don't. We're running on a thread of broadband. But when you were doing this event and you had that moment, did you just go silent in front of everybody? What happened, Brad?
Oh yeah, it's the signals. I've got strong signal, but your voice is breaking up. Can't hear you.
Yeah, then the signals again. Wi-Fi, it'll bite you in the ass at times. There we go. I tell people that's hard. So I can go back to my Wi-Fi story. Back in the day, unfortunately, we're losing time though, and I got a lot of questions for him. So at the time when COVID hit, we were already kind of in this mode doing this. And people didn't realize, like, the people that were doing Zoom meetings. Let's try again. Cross your fingers. Come on. Let's make it happen. There you go. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I got you. But like I said, let's see how long we can keep you.
Hey.
I asked. Yes. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me now? Hello? You don't hear me. You're not hearing me? You're not hearing me? It's been quite some time since we had these. Okay.
I'm on top of the router. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's they could be using other things in the house.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me? We have to hear each other. I hear you. Yes. No, don't do that.
I can hear you, but it's breaking up. Can't really.
Wow. Okay. I don't know how else I can function on this. It's again, it's Wi-Fi. Hardwire is the way to go if you do these in the future. I'm going to try to ask you this question again one more time. When you had that moment, maybe I'm not supposed to ask that question. No. Maybe it isn't meant to be with that question. Maybe I'm asking the wrong question. Because again, people think when you're watching TV, and a lot of people, those Zoom meetings and all that kind of stuff. Now we don't use Zoom, but the thing is, the concept, the principle is kind of the same. And everybody goes, well, I've never had a problem doing it. I do it all the time and don't have a problem. When you're watching movies or you're watching videos, that's download. Download speed is 10 times as fast as the upload speed they give you because fewer people upload things. That's for businesses and files and, transferring videos and things like that. Hence the Peter G Show. So I get to people. I go, if there's any way, because hardwire, everything is Wi-Fi now. The problem is when you're in a house or something and it's Wi-Fi, your TV's on Wi-Fi, your phones are on Wi-Fi. It starts thinning the power. It gets weaker. Let's try so we can bring him back. Come on back. Come on back. Spinning. If he's having this hard a time, I'm down to 15 minutes. Please give us one more shot. Otherwise, these things happen, but I just would like to get into this and because there's so much more detail in his book about surviving and why. It ain't working. Go back to me until he can get it together. I mean, it's not his fault. It's beyond, I think at this point, it's beyond his control. But people don't realize, just like this. Now, Brad was super busy. Let's see if I can get him back in. No? No. It was close, but no cigar. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to work out. A lot of times with my guests, we check things out well in advance. Well in advance. No less than 24 hours. So, in case there's premonitions of issues that are going to be, we could try to come up with a secondary solution. If I can get him back on, I'm going to try to tell him to switch to his phone. In fact, I'm going to send him we'll send him a text and see if he can go on his phone. Because sometimes people's cellular signals are better than let me see here. Timeout. Can you log on to your phone? And so I've had people literally that their Wi-Fi it just wasn't happening, and I was like, okay, people, let's try cell phone, because sometimes your cellular signal's stronger. I try to avoid this stuff, but it's just life, And then here we are. It's like we're right in the middle of a good story, but this is that's just life. I've learned. I used to get really frustrated about this, really frustrated, because you're sitting here watching, you're kind enough to give the time, and things go wrong. Like my guest, he's having issues with his end of it. He doesn't, for some reason, the broadband is just thinning out, and he doesn't have enough capability to do this. And I used to get really upset about it because I want to bring you guys a good show, but I kind of got to the point now. It's like, you know what? No matter how upset I get about it, it ain't going to change a damn thing. I'm still going to sit here. Normally I'd have some good things to tell you about, but I kind of been saving them. And I figured, this is going to be a good story because he's got a lot to talk about. But, I can play funny videos. But I wanted to talk about Be the Bubble. I could read you the book, but we don't have enough time for that. Let's see if he'll log on. If he gets my text, he might log on to his phone, and that may just get us through the rest of the show, which I got a funny feeling it just might do that. I can have him back someday. I may do that, but at this point, we're going to just see if we can just stomach through. Okay, and here he's back. Hey.
Sorry, guys. So sorry. I don't know what happened there.
Okay, so are you on your phone now?
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds different. Sounds good though. I mean, is there? Let me see. I don't. Is there any way I can get you to go horizontal? No, that'll work. Look, I'll take it. You're on. You got a good solid signal right now. We're good.
Everybody.
Listen, stuff happens. I told you that's why I go ahead of time. But this isn't the first. Won't be my last. Life goes on. Had this not happened, everything happens for a reason.
Correct. It does.
All right. Look,
I
got it. I've asked you this question 4 times or 5 times now, and you kept leaving me. So maybe you didn't want to answer the question, but let me ask you again, okay? Because I'm running out of time. I'll go over a little bit, but I hated losing the time, but that's okay.
Apologies.
No, it's not. We'll talk about it later, but that's just, again, it's technology and life. And you were doing that event when you had that moment, that moment. What were you were in front of people? Did you just go blank? And for how long?
I went blank, and it was probably, I don't even know how long it was. Probably to the audience, it probably seemed very long. To me, it seemed probably even longer because I was in that epiphany, this excitement, this realization. I'm not really sure. But it all happened at the right time. There was a meaning, a reason, and a purpose, and I took it, and here we are today. So I'm grateful for that.
But nobody told you, because people are watching you, they go, dude, what happened?
But it's when you're in a very deep meditative hypnotic state, you're not really disturbed by what's going on around you in this realm. And that's where I was. The audience was probably just waiting and probably talking to each other to say what's going on, but no one was saying, hey Brad, hello, come back. It was probably I'd say 30 seconds.
Okay. I mean, what did anybody say to you after the event was over? Did they forget about it already, or did somebody bring it up and go like, "Hey, dude, what happened to you?"
No. Well, when I came to consciousness and realized what had happened, I said, "Sorry, guys. I'm not sure how long I was having this epiphany for, but I went to a place where I just realized where I need to take you guys." So it actually made the whole talk much better than it was. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, prior to that, have you gone to hypnotherapy? Because I don't believe I can actually be hypnotized. I just don't think I can. I don't have that kind of open your mind and just let go mindset, unfortunately. I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad, but have you been to that?
Never been hypnotized as a show or a performance.
No, I mean with a doctor or something.
Yeah, well, before that time, no, I'd never been. But hypnotherapy, I think, is globally misunderstood. It's not. It's more of a very deep meditative state that's guided through a professional. You know, that's what it really is. You wouldn't do anything you wouldn't normally do when you're under hypnosis. You wouldn't act like not you. And I think that's kind of the misconcept that's believed about hypnosis. But anyway, that's not the where we're going. I went through that to get to where I needed to go.
I get it, but that regression, isn't that how you go into that kind of regression thing? Is through hypnosis, so to speak, right?
Yeah, yes, that's what I did. Correct.
But you just did it by chance?
No, I was directed there to go seek alternative measures of wellness, because remember, I was suffering. My body was ill, but normal Western doctors tested me and I was in perfect shape. So I sought alternative approaches to wellness, and therefore I went to undergo trauma therapy. And one of the trauma therapy was regression and hypnotherapy to get rid of my trauma.
So you have had it done. Through medical.
Yes, the first time I had it done. Yes.
Okay. Because I'm just saying, how could you be just in a speech and all of a sudden just zone out and without ever doing it?
So that hypnotherapy session that I went through happened about 6 years prior to that talk, and I never really knew what it was until that actually happened.
Okay.
But very interestingly, my wife at that time noticed that I had changed from this regression, and I think the biggest observation was that I became more confident. I made more decisive decisions. I was more on my page and not about anyone else's page, in a good way. So she noticed. She was the first person that noticed that this definitely changed me.
I can easily say that I'm sure there are many events in a lot of people's lives that will definitely change you as a person, good or bad.
Yes, 100%. The whole thing, that's again, I'll state it, that whatever happens to you or anyone in life, happening for you, not happening against you or to you. And it's all about how we take it to really grow from it and to become who we are meant to become, happy and successful, and how we can uplift the world around us. And I think, the reason that is basically the purpose of Be the Bubble, is to, it's a mindset toolkit to basically face life. Whatever life throws at you, you are in your bubble and you can deal with it in the right way.
Gotcha. I mean, again, I think that there is much to be. You have a lot of different areas of what do you feel in this book? Because there's lots of different sections of, in my opinion, kind of like it's a self-help through some guidance to point you in the right direction. But I mean, what do you think is some of the strongest parts of the book?
The strongest parts of the book.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have different chapters, or like, discovery, daily routines, or, letting go. I mean, to me, letting go is tough for me. I mean, that's taking me, I'm still working on a lot of that stuff. I don't mean to, but I think a lot about the past still, even though it doesn't matter anymore.
No, 100%. So I think the most important part of the book is discovery number 5, because everything basically of the book leads up to discovery 5, which is to be the bubble. And there are 3 methods to be the bubble. Well, the first method is to let go. Remember, I said that be the bubble. We're living right now in this moment, but it's all about the past. And we can't really focus on the moment unless we let go of what we're holding on to, what we can't break free from. So there's a method of how we break free, so we can focus on this moment right now. So we can make the best decisions for me now, not because of what I've been through. I'm not a victim anymore. I'm grateful for what I've been through. and
Right.
and that's how we let go. I mean, there are tools and measures of how, from the book and from the courses and workshops, of how we let go.
Wow. Because again, even the present, focus on the present. I mean, every blink of an eye and less, the present is already the past. The concept is just crazy, not crazy, but it's. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to it. I'm still learning, but like what I just said is gone. It's already gone. So like, what if? And it's always moving forward, but easier
but-
said than done.
I mean, if I say the future is now, well, that's the past. I said it in the past. I'm totally on your page. But I think what really counts is the now. Is now, right now. What am I going to do right now? And if I hold on to what I've been through in the past, don't hold on to it as a negative shell around your body, so I can't break free from that and grow. Rather be grateful for what happened in the past, whatever it is. I mean, just for examples, like I've helped sales departments and sales teams increase their sales by 40% every quarter based on letting go of the past. Just that principle. It really does work. It allows people to connect to who they are now and be grateful for what they've been through. And now I'm more experienced. I'm wiser. I won't do what I did in the past. I'll do it another way so I can create a better future. But you don't hang on to it. You don't hold it in your heart, because a lot of people hold on to the past, and whatever they do, it's always thinking about, my ex-husband or my ex-boyfriend or my ex-girlfriend or that sport or that show or whatever the case. So they're always reverting back to the negative of what they went through, which makes them do the doing of now what they meant to be doing. Does that make sense?
No, I get it. Again, it's a process for some people. Some people are quicker than others. Some people will never ever get it, and some people will get it in time. What do you feel about manifestation?
Manifestation.
Yeah, manifestation.
And manifestation.
Yeah, manifestation. I got to change my medication. It's messing with me up right now. Exactly. I mean, do you believe in, you see it, you make it, I mean, look, I got people, this used to drive me nuts. Some people would not get off the couch and I go, listen, you need to do this now because it may not be here tomorrow or something. Let's say they were going to buy something and they go, well, we're going to go home and think about it, because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I understand about the meant to be part, but I also know the part about if you don't do anything, you get nothing. Does that make sense?
100%.
Okay, but I mean, what do you feel about thinking about just visioning in it? Just envisioning it and all that.
I'm for it. I agree to it. I do believe in manifestation. So I think I stated it before, and it's actually discovery number 4. It's the title of discovery number 4. You can even read about it now if you want. It's all about choices. So it's all about choices. Basically, the discoveries prior to that leads us up to the chapter of it's all about choices. You're now mindful about everything you do and everything you don't do. You're more mindful about what happens around you, and you kind of focused on the present, not I'm the victim and why is this happening to me, right? It's about lighting up your light every single moment that you can for positivity and for you to grow. Now, it's all about choices, is that if I do something now, it's going to have a consequence in some time. And if I don't do something now, it's also going to have a consequence of me not doing it. Because not doing something is a consequence of not doing something, right? And I see the examples in the book about, if I went to, there are many different examples which I don't have to go through now, but everything happens and causes something. It's like a cycle. And manifestation, basically, I think how manifestation works, well, this is what I believe, is that every word spoken, every thought, every action acted upon creates an energy. It's not a physical energy, but it's an energy. You actually creating energy all the time. And those energies exist. One important part of Be the Bubble is about language. If I keep on saying, I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, I should have done this, you're putting yourself down, and you are stupid and you are an idiot. So you're creating that energy within you. But if you visioning of where you want to be, that I am doing this, and I'm driving that car, and I'm flying that plane, and I'm going to this holiday. I am going to immigrate to Los Angeles and live in Calabasas, whatever the case. That's manifestation. You're creating that energy, and it will come. So it definitely is true. I
What do
believe.
you think? What do you think about in your book? It's realizing that you are enough. What does that mean?
So that's method 3 of Be the Bubble. So that's the way we control the future, is realizing that you're enough now. You're not enough because when I lose 10 pounds or get that six pack. I'm not enough when I sell my business for $100 million. I'm not enough when I get a hug from this person that I want a hug from. I'm enough as I am right now. And that kind of lets go of an anxiety. It lets go of what I think I should be and what I want to be. It's rather, I love myself now. I'm enough. So the future's out of the way. We focus on the moment. It's about not being anxious about the future. It's about just living for now.
I got you, because there's a lot of people that work their asses off and they go, I don't understand why this isn't working. I'm working my ass to the bone. I am on it day and night. That's all I do. I'm kind of that way too. It's like, where I'm like, come on, how much more can I possibly do? I've given up everything else to focus on this. Why isn't this happening? Blah, blah, blah. You get a lot of that too?
100%. So often, people are in a specific situation, irrespective of what it is. And it's why me, why this? Why is this not happening to me? Why am I not getting it? The truth of the matter is, if you look deep inside their course of where they are, they chose that. You are where you are because of you, no one else. You are the reason why you are in what you are in. How you get out of it, I believe, is by being the bubble.
It amazes me because, I have these conversations with psychics and other people, and because again, the spirituality end of it and all that kind of relates in many different genres, so to speak. And I've known people that have moved to LA that within months all of a sudden fell into things and just became and got bigger and successful. And I'm telling people, I go, you're going to tell me that every single person that's super successful has been mindful and spiritual? And I don't believe that. It's like, all these people just do what they do. And that's just how, not all these people, but the majority of them just get to where they're going. And I don't think they have a clue as to how they got there or why they got there.
Yes. I mean, sometimes there is thought and process into that. There are actions done. Sometimes there's not. But I think there is all reason behind all of it.
Yeah,
I think a lot what pulls out from the successes of people is that be you, be true to yourself, and just have discipline, be persistent, and don't give up. Just get up and at it and work hard at what you believe in. And therefore you will be happy and successful. Irrespective of waking up at 5 a.m. I think there are huge amounts of books written about the most successful people in the world, and they do follow a routine. But I think at the end of it, it's all about focus. It's about discipline. It's about perseverance, and it's about not giving up, irrespective of what you actually do. And I think you'll find those elements and characteristics of the successful people, true.
Right. Look, I still got I could go, I haven't put a dent. We lost a few minutes, but the thing is, at least you're back and we were able to finish correctly. Is there anything that you think, if you could leave everybody with besides, that's what I want to do real quick, and then we'll get into that real fast. For those of you, I'm going to put this up right now. If you want to learn more about Bradley Dean Silberman and his book, Be the Bubble, you can find him at www.bradleydean.live. That's his website, correct, Brad?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to leave that up there.
Thank you.
But for the duration. But the thing is, if there was anything you could leave people with, however you close your speeches or things like that, to leave people wanting more or to learn more. Anything of prominence that you want to do right now?
So I think, the biggest element in all of this is love, the emotion, the action of love. And I'd like to leave everyone with love. And in that love, I think the most important element of going forward in anything in life is to love yourself first. And that is discovery number 2 in the book, is that many people can't bear themselves. They get to a stage where they can't bear to look at themselves, to be with themselves. They don't love themselves. And the true element of happiness and success is to love yourself. And I think that is misled and misguided by a lot of people. They think it's being more arrogant. They think it's putting themselves first before their children, but it's not about that. There's an element to loving yourself first, that if you love yourself, you are overflowing with the love and you're not getting drained and fatigued by giving and doing for other people. Loving yourself is the key to doing more for people than you ever could imagine. Because when that cup is overflowing, you have so much love to give, and it's not done begrudgingly, and it's not done through resentment. It's done because that's who you are and that's what you want. So my last words is love. I love you, and you should too.
I get you. I mean, just even yesterday, I think I saw something and somebody was saying that, think about it when you're on a plane. They go, in case of emergency, make sure you put your oxygen mask on first before you help others.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of, it's like you can't help anybody else if you can't help yourself. You know, you're no good to anybody else. I kind of understand that, but love is a big word. That word has been getting like more and more immense in my vocabulary or in my soul, more than anything, I think, over the past 10 years now. And I'm still not there. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, because it's such a tremendous, meaningful. I used to think that that word got overused, but I just think it's what you do with it that makes the difference and not how you say it.
No, I agree. I mean, you know, I've also got so much to learn, and that's why I'm here. And I appreciate being on the show. You know, I think, you know, like a monk would say, a monk who knows more about mindfulness and meditation than anyone, they think they need to learn more than anyone, because the more you know, the more you don't know. And I think that, you know, you know, we all need to learn and do the best we can. So I'm here to just assist in helping people finding who their true purpose, to be happy, to be successful, you know, to break free from what they're holding on to, and to reduce physical and emotional pain. You know, that's the reason I'm here.
No, I get it, because life is tough. I mean, for a lot of people, life is tough, and having somebody to lean on or for some guidance. I mean, that's why we share these stories on this show, because a lot of people just don't have the voice and they don't speak up. But if they're willing to listen, they may get something out of it. And that's why we're here right now. But I do appreciate your time. I truly do. Be the Bubble. Again, you could find Brad at www.bradleydean.live. That's your website, right, Brad?
Correct. And you can find the book on there as well.
And amongst other things too, you offer, what else do you offer on your website?
No, well, we do like group counseling, group therapy sessions, workshops, retreats, individual coaching, pain relief, massages, healing massages. But it's not massages like for an hour long. It's more of a 15-minute pain relief massage to relieve the pain that you're experiencing in your shoulder, in your knee, in your back. But there's an element of the emotional pain that you're going through that actually exists in your physical form. So there's the Be the Bubble coaching to break through that pain emotionally and physically. And that's my passion. And I do appreciate you having me on the show. I'm grateful that I'm here.
I appreciate you. We've talked about this months ago. It's taken months to get you on because we're kind of booked ahead of time, and you've been patient and you've been super busy, and you managed to get it all in and get it done. Someday, again, I'd like to have you back sometime in the future, next year sometime, because this year is going to be over like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can ever do enough when it comes to helping ourselves in order to be good for yourself, in order to be good for others as well. And this is the gift that keeps on giving, as far as I'm concerned. So God bless you. And I think I learned more after my child was born than any other time.
Beautiful.
I don't know, your mind shifts a little bit and you start thinking in different levels, but that was just 1% of me that, my life was okay and I really can't complain, but every day things can change. And again, at a blink of an eye, catastrophe can happen, and people need somebody to lean on and someplace to listen and learn and just say, hey, you're not alone. And so one more time, Be the Bubble. Brad's got this book and there's his website right there. And if you want to learn more about Brad and everything else, and possibly even utilize some of his things that he offers, much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
All right, Brad, you take care of yourself.
Thanks so much. Chat to you later.
Bye-bye. There you have it, folks. Be the Bubble. BradleyDean.live. www. That's his website. You can go there and learn more about him. I mean, I'm glad that we managed to get him back on, and we didn't completely lose him out because there was so much. But I think we got to where we needed to be. I think you get the gist of things. As always, we're trying to leave you with a message, with something for you to take to heart. And this is just one of the many, as Brad came on, as so many do, that have a mission and a purpose in life. And I hope maybe you just check it out. Whether I'm telling you, the book is not that, it's some books I look at them and going, oh my God, there's 580 pages, and I'm not a diligent reader. Some people are, and they can blow through it in a couple of hours. This is a pretty decent, easy read. It's spelled out very simply put. I mean, so you can get a grasp on it. So if you just need that little self-help stuff and want to learn more, or go to his website, because he talks about a lot of things on that as well. And he'll be there for you. And again, maybe someday, hopefully he'll be able to come on, and maybe actually in person, and we'll do it, because things are forever changing here at the Peter G Show. I do not, 1 week after another, things change rapidly around here for the better. But, we're kind of being the bubble in show form, so whatever we bring to you, I hope it makes a difference in your life. And that's what's most important for us over here at this show. But don't forget, you can get Brad's information from www.bradleydean.live. That's his website. And I'm sure there's email contacts and all kinds of stuff right there. In fact, I know there is. So I would do that there. But as we turn the page, once again, I want to remind you that next week, right here on this show, from the Artist First Radio Network, radio talk show host Miss Kathy Nutt is going to be on this show, and we're just going to talk about life. I'm going to talk about what she's doing on her show. I have no idea. She's kind of a sports chick, but she tends to get different. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I guarantee you she's a hoot, and we'll do whatever we do. But next week, I want you to be here Wednesday, August 10th, right here. Artist First Radio Network radio talk show host Miss Kathy Nutt's going to be on this show, so I suggest you tune into that show. And don't forget, one more time, the podcasts. Google Peter G Show Podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, there's Spotify, all that. You just type in Peter G Show Podcast. Take us in the car with you. Listen to us if you can't watch. God bless the ones that can watch. I appreciate everything about it. But if you can't watch, just take us on the put an earbud in your ear, take us to work, listen while you're working, during your lunch, while you're walking, whatever you want to do. Lots of good information, just like this show today. So I highly recommend it. It's the next best thing to being there. If you can't see us, listen to us. But that's it. My name is Peter G. I want to thank you for watching Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show, right here every Wednesday night. And again, on demand. If you missed the show, you can pull it up on one of the many platforms. Just Google Peter G Show, period. YouTube, subscribe on the YouTube. My YouTube channel is kind of weak. I never used to pay attention to it, but I'm trying to get that built up. All the short clips, you get all the long clips on the show. Facebook's big, LinkedIn, BitChute, TLB Talk, you name it. There's a bunch of them. But either way, you can find us easy, and then you can pull them up on demand and watch whatever you want to watch. Some of your favorites you can rewatch. But as long as you're, I appreciate you being there. Again, I want to thank all of you for giving me the time. I truly appreciate you and love you. Love is the key, right? Brad just got through saying it, and that's the truth. But don't take no shit from anybody, but be kind. Life is short. You don't have to be an ass, but you don't have to put up with a bunch of stuff either. I mean, I used to have a tendency, in order to not cause conflict, to just put up with a little bit too much. But again, I've kind of gotten to that point, especially doing this show. You can't please everybody, but you got to start with yourself first. So I suggest you just take a deep breath, pay attention, do what makes you happy. Manifestation. I don't know why I got so tongue-tied on that. Thanks for making fun of me, Michael. Let's say it one more time. Manifestation. I did it. You there? You happy? I get people that like to kick me in the nuts every once in a while. It's all good. All right, you got to figure. I do a lot of talking, and I'm bound to get there's no fixing anything here. When we're live, we are live, and that's a fact. Speaking of live, we're getting ready to go off live. So, my name is Peter G. Thank you for watching. As always, I love you guys, and peace out.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad.